Hello and welcome to the show. We start this week's FailRace episode on GTA 5 ETU Dunmere driving. I don't actually know what this car is called. One of the boost-powered armoured crazy vehicles. This one, as they're heading up towards the casino, hits the boost, gets some airtime, bounces off said casino, and manages to park pretty perfectly. It's not quite straight, but it's a solid sort of 9.8 out of 10, I reckon, that one. Zack Attack up next on GTA 5 has the Deluxo. Now, I've done this before, but never quite to this extent. Gets out of the car while it's in hover mode and slightly moving, and the problem is when you do that, the car doesn't stop moving. So, your hovery, flyy car will drive away from you, and this one has driven away up a mountain. Yeah, it's actually quite a walk to go and find said vehicle, but it does eventually come to a rest. It's easily done with this one, just the distance this will manage to travel up a hill. It's quite entertaining. Don't jump out of put your car out of hover mode. Don't leave your car in hover mode. It's a bad idea. We are up next, so what's happening still on GTA 5 Renan, with a bit of bad luck heading towards a stunt jump. Of course, heading with a stunt race. Manages to get punted through the loop, lands on the circuit, gets punted again by the same car, lands it's kind of across the track, punted a third time towards the next checkpoint, and still somehow leads the race. Does eventually lose it, but you could not get more lucky if you tried around that particular area. You really, really couldn't. Roshake up next on GTA 5 is being chased by the police, trying to get away when they have a new tactic. It doesn't quite work, but they throw a Futo at the muscle car. I don't quite know how the Futo got the speed, quite how it must have got hit by the police car, but that Futo was shifting. You can see the marks where it got hit sideways. I don't quite know. Either way, yeah, that Futo was at serious pace when it went towards the player, but they got away with it. Captain Aaron up next on Car X Drift is messing around. I'm going for one of the jump drifts. Now, there's been a crash up ahead, and as one of those cars tries to recover the vehicle we're riding with, manages to, properly thread the needle. That is such a small... The gap is barely big enough for the car. In fact, it is hardly big enough for the car. You put it in slower, not great quality doing it, but this way, but slow-mo as it goes through the gap, as that car recovers. It is... there's a fair bit of luck and a fair bit of precision, I would imagine, in getting that one to work. I got a still image from just how close that came to having a bad time. Well done. Well done indeed for managing to get through that gap. Definitely unsafe rejoin. Intercept BA up next on Need for Speed Hot Pursuit has got, well, it's the FailRace Police Department. Yes, they've infiltrated a Need for Speed game again. Heading up towards a roadblock. So it bumps a car into the roadblock, looking in the rearview mirror as everything falls over from the roadblock. I think 4 races fell over from that one. That is damn impressive. That is damn impressive indeed. Spooky Squid up next on Cyberpunk, with a mission to crash into and stop an AI vehicle. Said AI vehicle is having none of it and just launches the player clean out of the way. Who needs a ramp car? Who needs a ramp car when one of the cabs will do just the same job? It's quite impressive. Kath up next on Scrap Mechanic with something that's got too much... There's something wrong. There's too much power. That's not how a car should work. That's definitely not how a car should work. It's very much not. Nope, now everything's gone really weird and glitchy. Now it's just a spiralling ball of physics pain. I guess the torque on the motors or whatever is set way too much, but it's not right. That's not... I say, let's talk on that, and somehow like the wheels get instant traction, and it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. MCRM Snow is up next on Farming Simulator. Now they're, I say minding their own business, they're waiting for their truck to be filled up with grain. Their friend comes along with a mini and doesn't notice the dip in the sort of like a loading area. Mini goes for a tumble. There's one way to pass the time while you are waiting for your truck. Have a little mini freestyle session. Sure, why not? Steel Guns up next is watching some, I think, AI-controlled bombers taking off from the airfield. And there's one that's not being normal. I don't quite know why it's decided that this is the way to fly. Every other plane is being perfectly sensible. Every other plane is being fine and well behaved, and there's one that's determined to do constant loops. The inaugural FailRace Air Force is not the best way to go. It's still going. It's still going. Everyone else is still taking off and flying along normally on this one. I don't know much about flight sims, but I do know that this isn't supposed to happen. This is, I guess, that's sort of onboard, however camera works, following, and it's just constantly looping. I don't know. Maybe something was damaged, but I'm not sure. Trailblazer up next on American Truck Simulator. Notice some weird goings on at this particular junction. There is a bus that drives through a solid wall and then vanishes out of existence. Okay, well that's odd, so they go to investigate what might happen if you put, well, the player vehicle in the way of the things coming into existence. No, those ones actually do exist, and they didn't manage to roll the truck over. Things got pinged around. I mean, AI traffic is weird at the best of times in all of that. Victor up next on Forza Motorsport 7 is selecting a car. Now, I have seen this before when you're trying to select a car and it's got sort of a vehicle in mind and it's got a bit glitchy. Now, the bit that I haven't seen before, though, is what happens after. As they're busy cycling through to select their cars, the game decides to balance. Yes, we're just going to balance the Nissan on top of the BMW. That's a better way of working it. I've just not seen it do that before. And finally, we move on to Assetto Corsa with the world's slowest and dumbest oval crash. So, vehicle stuck through the floor, I presume with a modded car and modded track combination, unhappy, and just everything slowly plows into it all and rolls over. Like, I've seen really, really big oval racing crashes. NASCAR 2003 has some huge ones, and this one manages to fumble everything at like 20 miles an hour as everything's trying to slow down, and just kind of this wave of cars come together, and it's all very, very dumb. Well done. Well done, AI, for that one. It's just completely broken everything. Yeah, the car on the floor doesn't help, but you never know what the AI are going to do stupidly. Sometimes it doesn't have to be really high-speed stuff. But there we go. That is going to be it for this episode. As ever, if you have clips you'd like to submit to this series, you can via a Google form. The link to that can be found in the description. All the rules and how it works, etc., is all in there. That, though, shall be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.